Dean Guillemeli, a successful millionaire, and Monica Olson, a charming model, made an incredibly striking couple. Their external beauty harmoniously combined with their inner passion and energy. It seemed they were made for each other. However, after 9 years of marriage, their feelings cooled, and the couple decided to divorce. This story demonstrates what people are willing to do for money and power, revealing the dark sides of human nature, greed and ruthlessness. Monica was born in 1981 in the cozy town of Aconity, into a family of intelligent and decent people. From a young age, the girl dreamed of a career as a model. As a teenager, she actively attended castings, participated in photo shoots for advertising, and walked the catwalks. Monica was remarkably photogenic and charming. In addition to her beauty, the girl also possessed a sharp mind. She earned a master's degree in international finance and spoke 7 languages fluently. Monica worked tirelessly to achieve success in the modeling business. First, she moved to New York, and then settled in Los Angeles, intending to try her hand at acting. In the early 2000s, Monica landed a small role in the movie The Hot Chick, where she met Rachel McAdams. In the summer of 2003, in Los Angeles, fate brought 22-year-old Monica together with 42-year-old millionaire Dean Guillemeli. The man was enchanted by the young model's beauty and sought to build a serious relationship with her. Dean was born in 1961 in Washington State, into a large and friendly family, with 6 brothers and sisters. From an early age, he was accustomed to work, helping his parents on the family farm. From his youth, Dean was passionate about music and dreamed of creating his own rock band. He dropped out of college and headed to Los Angeles, hoping to become a real rock star. However, his music career did not bring him the desired wealth. At the age of 20, Dean got a job as a janitor at a waste recycling plant. After 3 years of hard work, he rose to the position of office manager, and 7 years later, he became a supervisor. In his free time, Dean studied the basics of business, dreaming of his own venture. At the age of 30, Dean founded a company that produced dietary supplements and organic cosmetics. He often shared his vision with friends that everyone wants to live long and look their best. The young entrepreneur had no doubts about the success of his business. And indeed, his ideas and products quickly gained popularity. At the peak of the company's development, Dean owned 4 factories employing about 300 people. Dean's annual income reached approximately $48 million. He bought luxurious homes and cars, enjoying a life of wealth and luxury. Before meeting Monica, Dean had already been married and had a son and daughter, but his first marriage had fallen apart. At 42, the millionaire met Monica and fell in love with the charming model at first sight. He captivated her with attention, gifts, and care. 6 months after they met, Dean and Monica went on a trip to Italy. There, unexpectedly for the girl, Dean proposed to her. Despite the significant age difference, the impressed beauty agreed to become the rich man's wife. In 2004, they had a lavish and luxurious wedding in New York. The bride and groom were beaming with happiness, but Dean's inner circle suspected that Monica had only married him for the money, considering her a true fortune hunter. After the wedding, the couple settled in Dean's luxurious estate in Valencia, California. Their house had an area of 650 square meters and included 6 bedrooms, a spacious kitchen, a living room, and a children's room. The estate occupied just over a hectare of land. There was a saltwater pool in the yard, a small spa center, and a separate guest house. The first years of Dean and Monica's married life were indeed happy. Dean's children from his first marriage lived with them. The man focused on developing the business, while Monica continued to work as a model. When she became pregnant in 2005, she put her career on hold for a while. Soon the couple had a daughter, Vendela, and 2 years later, their second daughter, Sienna, was born. Monica immersed herself in motherhood, but after a few years, she realized that she was not ready to devote her entire life to family alone. In 2008, with her husband's support, she launched her own line of organic cosmetics called Skin by Monica Olson. In addition, Monica gradually resumed her work as a model and actress. To care for her daughters, Monica hired a nanny who was practically around the clock in their luxurious home. By 2011, Monica's career had skyrocketed. She was constantly busy with shoots, often in Hollywood, flying to New York and Milan. Monica collaborated with famous designers. Sometimes she would return home late in the evening when her daughters were already asleep, and early in the morning, she would leave for shoots again. At that time, Monica's cosmetic line had gained tremendous popularity. 2 large retail chains signed contracts with her and placed stands with her products in their stores. Monica's closest friend noted that the girl sought financial independence and wanted to rely not only on the wealth of her millionaire husband. Dean could not help but notice his wife's growing popularity. It annoyed him that Monica spent a lot of time at work, becoming more and more independent and self-sufficient. He wanted his wife to stay at home, have children, and take care only of the family. Gene, Dean's older brother, who lived with the couple for 6 months in their estate, said that he immediately noticed problems in the relationship between Dean and Monica. As Gene noted, both Dean and Monica were strong personalities, unwilling to compromise with each other. Dean was against his wife's participation in revealing photo shoots. Fearing losing control over Monica, he began to show aggression towards her. Dean became increasingly domineering and vindictive. Using his rights as the owner of the company, he terminated contracts with stores that Monica collaborated with and where she supplied her organic cosmetics. Dean did everything to ensure that his wife's products simply did not reach store shelves. Dean began to destroy his own company with his own hands, firing workers from factories. More and more often, he spent time in clubs and finally fulfilled his long-held childhood dream. At the age of 50, Dean created his own rock band, where he became the lead vocalist. He dyed his hair black and covered his nails with varnish. Dean convinced Monica that this was how he expressed his individuality and that there was no need to be afraid of it. However, her husband's new image only frightened her. Monica shared with her friends that Dean's behavior had become like that of a madman. Once he fired the nanny to whom his daughters were very attached. Dean was annoyed that the nanny had a close relationship with Monica and showed excessive devotion to her. By the end of 2011, Dean and Monica's marriage had completely fallen apart. The couple constantly argued and could no longer live under the same roof. Dean decided to file for divorce. The man moved to the guest house on the territory of his luxurious estate, seeking to minimize contact with his wife, who was still officially his legal spouse. It became known that during this period, Dean began dating other women. Without waiting for the divorce proceedings to be completed, the millionaire had several mistresses, openly demonstrating his infidelity. At the same time, Dean turned to his friend, 46-year-old Richard Furman, stating his desire to get rid of Monica as soon as possible. Dean and Rick were business partners. Furman had previously served in the army and had useful connections. Together they supplied vitamins and dietary supplements to the military. A friendly and trusting relationship formed between the men. Dean complained to his friend that his wife had relations with men and women. He claimed that Monica was a bad mother who abused alcohol and prohibited substances. The millionaire confessed to Rick about his fear of losing property and custody of his daughters. Dean did not want to pay Monica alimony in the amount of $55,000 per month. He gave Rick a copy of the keys to Monica's car and information about the places she visited. Dean asked his friend to plant prohibited substances in Monica's car and call the police. He wanted the woman to be arrested and deported to her native Canada. Soon Dean provided documents indicating that his company was in financial trouble. The amount of alimony was reduced to $25,000 per month. Dean consulted with a divorce attorney who advised him to leave his wife alone. The lawyer argued that Dean would lose anyway and that it was not worth fighting with Monica. He recommended that Dean simply pay the alimony and live his own life. The millionaire became furious, unwilling to give in to his wife. He did not want to give her his daughters and share the business. Dean again turned to his friend for help in getting rid of Monica. One day, during a meeting with Dean, Rick Furman reported that he had infected Monica with HIV and claimed that the woman was now seriously ill and would soon die of AIDS. A broad smile appeared on the millionaire's face. Dean said that this news greatly pleased him. The man calmed down, deciding that such punishment would be sufficient for Monica. But at the beginning of 2012, everything changed. On the evening of January 16th, another quarrel broke out between Dean and Monica. This happened in their mansion. The daughters saw and heard their parents arguing. During the quarrel, Monica became frightened. She took the girls to her room and locked the doors. The woman was confused and did not know what to do. Since her husband would not calm down, Monica called the police. However, it turned out that Dean had managed to call 911 first and reported that his wife had attacked and hit him. He took photos showing small scratches on his neck. The police took Dean's side. They arrested Monica and took her to the station. The woman spent a whole day in a cell with dangerous criminals. Soon a case was opened against her for a minor offense and domestic. In January 2012, Dean managed to obtain a court order against his wife and full custody of Vendela and Sienna. Monica was forced to leave the mansion. Lydia, Dean's previous wife, said that during their divorce, he had similarly accused her of domestic, lied to everyone about her use of prohibited substances. The man made every effort to ensure that the children stayed with him. And he succeeded. After divorcing Guillemeli, Lydia lost everything: her children, home, and joint business producing dietary supplements and cosmetics. In her opinion, Dean was extremely prudent, insidious, and heartless. The woman had no doubt that for his own benefit, he had deceived both her and his second wife. But unlike Lydia, Monica began to fight. After 13 months, the woman managed to prove her innocence. All charges of domestic against her were dropped, and Monica was allowed to reunite with her daughters. Dean was furious to the point of insanity. He again turned to his old friend Rick Furman with a request to make it so that his wife would disappear from his life forever. Dean called Rick 5 to 10 times a week, constantly reminding him of the need to get rid of Monica as soon as possible. Dean wanted it to look as if the woman had died at the hands of people associated with. He wanted Monica's death to be cruel and full of suffering. Dean wanted her head to be cut off at the end and her body thrown into a ditch. On October 1, 2013, Dean and Rick had lunch together at a cafe. The millionaire learned that his wife Monica was vacationing in Mexico at that time. The men ordered hot meals. During the meal, Rick told Dean that he had hired a man in Mexico and that in a couple of hours Monica would be dead. Rick told Dean that he still had time to change his mind and cancel everything, but the millionaire did not want to back down. When Rick asked how the daughters would live without their mother, Dean replied that there was no need to worry about it. He assured that he was a good father and would find the girls a new caring mom, much better than their own. Then the friends discussed payment. Dean promised to give Rick $80,000 for the crime committed. Dean did not ask for details. He said he would read about everything in the newspapers. The meeting between Rick and Dean lasted about an hour and a half, of which 15 minutes were spent discussing the preparation for the crime. After that, the millionaire got up, said goodbye to his friend, and went home. In fact, Rick knew that Dean would never read about Monica's death in the newspapers, because Rick had turned to the police in advance. The entire conversation in the cafe was recorded on a dictaphone that Furman hid under the table. In addition, plainclothes police officers were sitting at neighboring tables in the establishment, closely watching the men. Monica was grateful to Rick for not killing her. All this time, the woman was hiding in a hotel in California, waiting for handcuffs to be put on her husband. The very next day, on October 2nd, 52-year-old Dean Guillemeli was arrested in his luxurious mansion in Valencia right in front of his daughters. He was charged with attempted murder. Dean denied his guilt. He believed that Rick Furman had set him up to seize the business. Dean accused his friend of wanting to kill Monica himself so that she would not interfere with their joint venture. According to Dean, Rick constantly complained to him about Monica's attempts to break their contracts with sponsors. It became known that while behind bars before the trial began, Dean offered his cellmate money to visit Rick Furman. Upon learning of this, Rick became frightened and was forced to leave California, hiding his whereabouts. Prosecutors also received information that Dean had secretly transferred $4.5 million abroad and planned to flee the country with his children, but he did not succeed. The man was transferred to a solitary cell and forbidden to use a mobile phone. It is worth saying a few words about Rick Furman. During the investigation, it was revealed that Rick had served in the army for only 1 year. His military career was not successful. Rick was wounded and demobilized. He denied being a real contract killer, but when asked if he had ever killed a person, he replied that this had never happened on U.S. territory. Rick refrained from further comments on this matter. There were some strange moments in the case related to Furman. For example, during the investigation, it turned out that Rick had indeed deceived Dean several times, claiming that they had signed a military contract for the supply of dietary supplements. Rick admitted that he had forged the signature to convince Dean of the prospect of a large commercial deal. In this way, he tried to distract Dean from bad thoughts and lift his mood. Fortunately for Monica, Rick did not infect her with HIV. He deceived Dean, hoping that the millionaire would leave his wife alone and calm down. Prosecutors believed that Dean and Rick were worthy of each other. They ran a business together and had been friends for quite a long time. The judge called Rick a chameleon. Despite suspicions that Furman was a fraudster, no charges were brought against him. In the summer of 2014, the trial of Dean Guillemeli began. The man, as before, denied his guilt and claimed that in this case, only he was the victim. According to Dean, his only fault was that he worked a lot and trusted too much a friend who turned out to be a traitor. The judge offered Dean a plea deal. The man faced life imprisonment, but by taking the blame, he could significantly reduce his time behind bars. Dean agreed and pleaded guilty to attempted murder in the second degree. He stated that he had agreed to the deal only at the request of his mother. In 2014, Dean Guillemeli was found guilty. He was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Monica was dissatisfied with the verdict and stressed that her life was worth much more. Here is what she said in court. "For me, the very desire to kill is already a crime. What if I tried to shoot someone, but missed by half an inch and the bullet flew past? Would I be less guilty because of it? Did Dean become less of a criminal because Rick stopped him?" Monica officially divorced Dean only after the final verdict. The woman admitted that now the meaning of her life is to take care of her daughters. Vendela and Sienna know why their father is behind bars. After divorcing the millionaire, Monica got the mansion in Valencia. However, as it became known, the woman could not live in this luxurious house, because she felt in danger there and shuddered at every rustle. Monica sold the property for $3 million and, together with her daughters, bought more modest housing. It is known that the woman tried to resume the production of cosmetics, but the new business turned out to be unprofitable. Monica is convinced that if it were not for this dirty story with her husband, she could have built a brilliant career and achieved real success. Dean Guillemeli's company was sold at auction. The proceeds went to pay off debts. It is known that Dean served his sentence in a prison in California and was released in 2021. Dear friends, write your opinion about this case in the comments. Please support my channel, like and subscribe to not miss any videos. Be careful. See you soon.